Hello again, thank you for joining me for another video. So sorry I've been away for the last month. I haven't been able to make a video because I've been in the throes of trying to heal some deep, hardcore triggers related to sorcery and confusion, the dualistic nature of secular materialism versus the known experience I've had of the transcendent. And then coupled with what I was internally and locally trying to clear, it was chaos in the rest of the world with hurricanes and more war stuff everywhere and just like ridiculous amounts of um, chaos broadcast, solar flares and comets and second moons. I mean, it's just been weird, right, in general for the last month. And like now, instead of like, it used to go back and forth between this timeline and that or that time, this timeline or that time. We're like back and forth. Now they're at the same time, and it's a little uncomfortable. They're taking up the same space. It's a little weird. I digress. Did I digress? Okay, so if you saw my post, what I was going to attempt to talk to you about today was my white owl story. Snowy owl, white owl. So in the lore, an animal totem like the white owl can have significant spiritual meaning, symbolism. And a lot of times they are considered, like kind of harbingers of death or the spirit realm coming through. For me, that was definitely true because I was on the cusp of total destruction. I was already in like 4 layers of hell at that point. My life was crumbling around me. I was possessed by chemical warfare. um, many years of being prescribed chemicals to shut off, tamp down, and negate, gaslight, and control what I know now was an initial spiritual awakening that was pretty intense due to trauma. So some people have spiritual awakening, they don't have a whole lot of trauma. It's like a year-long process and then blissful. Mine was a couple decades. I'm ongoing. I'm still a couple decades in. I'm not sitting here with a boatload of money and a soulmate, which are things I think would need to happen for me to feel like, oh, I actually got it. I actually believe I deserve good things. So I still struggle with, do I deserve good things? And part of that was the confusion of this dualistic idea related to spirituality as a primitive concept and spirituality as an idea and belief system of the uneducated, uninformed, unenlightened, clueless, ignorant masses. So spirituality and materialism seemed like the fruit of and the offering of the intelligent, and anything else was bullshit. And so when you've had a spiritual awakening and you're like, hey, reality is not operating to me and with me and through me in the same way that you're describing, so which reality is real? And as soon as you ask that question, which reality is real? It's almost like a battle ensues. And you get caught between this pendulum. So what had happened is I was told my initial awakening in 2003, despite the absurd proof it actually offered. I was told it was psychosis, and then told I couldn't see my son unless I took medication for that psychosis. So I did, despite the fact that the spirit world never went away. It just did a whole bunch of harm to my body that I had to recover from. 10 years of investigating what exactly happened to me. I looked through, I mean, thousands of accounts, books, like full autistic deep dive into what is the truth of what happened to me. And it was not until I found information from Hinduism, really, that I started to understand what happened to me. And the whole truth was allowed to unfold, and I was able to rewrite things and actually heal from it. Because if someone just tells you that your mind doesn't work, and that's still how you are interacting with reality, then you distrust everything. So, my white owl story. My whole world had crumbled. What I had said was, I can't do this anymore. My older son had gotten into big trouble. This felt completely like my fault because I was not able to pull us out of, even though I did everything that was asked of me. It just broke me. It didn't turn me into the person that they kind of said it would. There was no healing. There was only enclosure. So I didn't heal and become like this college graduate, what I was trying to do. My world was just crumbling around me. And so then I just called out to the spirit world and said, okay, you're going to have to intervene here because I've been trying to walk both worlds, and I've been trying to play nice with the secularists, and they're killing us, and I can't do it anymore. And it's like the spirit realms rushed in, and I was having all of these weird experiences, one after another, that didn't make sense. I was writing this story of, turned out to be the, you probably not gonna believe me, but turned out to be like a very similar storyline as to the, God, what are they called? I think they're called the LDS Church, with the guy who gets sent the weird information. Anyway, it's something along those lines. And I was like, oh, I can't write this book. It's already been written in real life, and these people follow that religion. Stuff like that was happening. And some sort of weird, profound understanding of physics, having never studied it. Something got unlocked in me as soon as I let go of that dualistic understanding of things, despite feeling the threats that would come my way if I did not adhere to secular society's ideas of reality. So my son gets in trouble. The guy who is threatening my child, 19-year-old child, the guy who is threatening him takes me into his car because we're going to try. He wants to be on my side. He wants to help my son. Threatening him simultaneously wants to help him. We're in his car driving down some back gravel road, and an owl comes out, swoops right to the windshield. And that happened twice while I was driving with him, and once by myself. So 3 times I got an owl, and this is in the span of just a couple weeks. And that man was dangerous. I didn't know the full extent of the danger, but dangerous man. And had I continued down that path, there's no doubt that I would have gotten sucked into some dark places. I was already in a dark place trying to get my son out of the trouble he had gotten into. And I knew, because I had called out, that this owl was some kind of messenger, and it was just enough for me to know, okay, the spirit realm's real. Now I got to act from that level of understanding. I cannot play this materialist game. I cannot follow their rules. I cannot believe that magic isn't real, for lack of a better descriptor. I can't believe that the promises in the Bible weren't for me or don't come until later. I can't believe I'm still in punishment. I had to find a way to bring God back present for real in my life. And the owls are what did it. But I was like literally at death's door. The amount of medication I was on that was killing me, my life falling apart, getting evicted under false, pretenses, and thrown to the wolves. I lost everything in the matter of 3 months. Every single thing I had been fighting for gone in the matter of 3 months, and utterly decimated. And then I got my proof, because in the decimation of everything, that one little messenger kept me in faith to listen and keep listening. And then from that point was rebuilt, the renewing of the mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Like, that means everything. Everything got handed up to the Holy Spirit in terms of there was nothing. There was nothing I was not willing to turn over. There was nothing I was going to hang on to. Not Jesus, not the Bible, not any amount of scientific evidence of this reality, no person, no sense of myself. Everything had to be turned over, because I didn't want to hold on to anything that could ever lead me to the point again that I had gotten to, where, my son was in danger, was in that much danger, had to spend time in jail. You got to take that. You got to take that as a responsibility that you failed. And so I listened to the secular world, and it brought me to hell. And I had to cry out to be rescued. And when I was rescued, now I don't have to wonder anymore, right? There's a proof there for me. But the secular doesn't ever shut up. It will constantly get in your ear to tell you that you're crazy. It will take things from you that it has possession of and keep it from you and make you believe that you can't have access to it. It's a strange game that plays out in front of us. And the amount of willpower to keep surrendering to the unknown and the potential of grace is that humbling. First is the quickening, and then is the humbling, right? So this latest clearing, it was a big one, coming to terms with that on the levels of secularism. There is sorcery afoot, and it shouldn't be. Like, if that's what you're choosing, then you shouldn't get to have both. You can't have your cake and you can't eat it too. So it was a weird kind of clearing like that. So that's why the timelines are like stacked on top of each other right now. I think it's hard to describe if you're not looking into the ethers in that way, but I hope things get a little bit better going forward, and those of us who have had these like intense proofs really can take comfort in them, even when there's like all that loudness of it can't be and you're an idiot, primitive and uneducated. You don't have to read it in a book. Your own life probably tells you all you need to know, right? All right. Well, I'm gonna stop there. Please feel free to leave comments, questions, your own interesting stories. Did you have a strange encounter with Mother Earth that reminded you that you are not a walking, talking automaton? Please feel free to share below. It helps others too. And be well. Until next time.